So, you want to learn about machine learning, but you aren't quite sure where to start, and/or you don't want to spend the time and money setting up a bunch of infrastructure to do it. Well, you're in luck because this last week Amazon rolled out SageMaker Studio Lab, currently in preview, which is a totally free service where you can learn and get some hands-on practice with machine learning. This is really an abbreviated version or light version of the full-blown Amazon SageMaker Studio, which requires an AWS account and has a cost associated with it. By the way, check out the video above if you want to learn more about that. But back in SageMaker Studio Lab, you'll see a brief overview here of how it works and some of the key features. First, like I mentioned, it doesn't require an AWS account or credit card to get started. You get an option for CPU or GPU compute power, and you also get 15 gigabytes of free long-term storage, which we'll see more about in our demo. But let me show you how to sign up and get started. If you scroll back up and click on this Get Started button here, this takes you to studiolab.sagemaker.aws, and you can request a free account. Now, for those of you who do have an AWS account already, this is entirely different. That AWS account won't do you any good here. You do need to set up a new account for this lab. And again, that's actually part of the appeal, is that you don't need a credit card for this account like the AWS account requires. But you'll fill in the details here and then hit Submit Request. Then you'll have to verify your email, and after that you basically get put onto a wait list for an account. I'm not sure if that's always going to be the case, but at least for now you have to wait for full approval to get your account. If you look at the FAQs for Studio Lab about how long this takes, they say it's typically 1 to 5 business days. Mine was actually a little faster, about 20 hours, which was great, but at whatever point you get approved, you're going to get another email saying that your account's been approved with a link to go set up the account, which is just a simple form with username and password. So after you've done that, you'll come and sign in at studiolab.sagemaker.aws. Let me do that quickly. And then from here, it's really easy to start your first project. First, you need to select your compute option here. As you'll see in the tooltip, CPU is good for general purpose computing, and most likely that's what you're going to want as you get started. You'd choose GPU if you're running algorithms that are specifically optimized for that. And then importantly, over here for time remaining, depending on what you choose, this is going to affect the amount of time you can run your session. You'll see that CPU gives you 12 hours and GPU gives you 4 hours. Now, that doesn't mean you have to complete your whole project within that amount of time, thank goodness. But after the 12 or 4 hours, you are going to have to restart the project runtime. But don't worry, all of your files will be saved, so you can just pick up where you left off. Again, Studio Lab is free for you, but there are real compute and storage resources behind this that Amazon's paying for, and I'm sure they don't want people just kind of running wild with it. And in their FAQs, they specifically call out that you can't use this environment to mine cryptocurrency, so I suppose the time limit helps prevent that as well. Anyway, if you find that you need unlimited compute time and storage, you can always upgrade to the full SageMaker Studio. But moving on here, we're going to go with CPU and then click on Start Runtime. On the back end, this is spinning up your compute instance and getting the Studio Lab environment all set up for you. While we're waiting, if you're finding this useful so far, consider hitting that like button so it can reach more people. And also think about subscribing for more AWS content in the future. All right, now we're going to click on Open Project. This will probably drop you into the Getting Started notebook that you see here, but if it doesn't, over here with folder selected, you can always get to this right here under SageMaker Studio Lab Notebooks. So over here under Getting Started, we have some nice instructions about the project, again the compute power, the persistent storage, and then the basics of running Python in a Jupyter Notebook. We have some simple code here. If you put your mouse into the cell, you can run this code either up here with a little play button to run selected cells, or you can also use Shift-Enter, which is how I like to do things. And you'll see here we're printing out those variables A, B, and C. If you want to learn more about Python, there is a link here for Python tutorials, so check that out. Scrolling down, there's more information here about how to create notebooks, files, and access the terminal. It references the launcher, which might be open for you here as a separate tab. And this is a good launch point, literally. You can always bring that back up, though, by coming to File and New Launcher if you don't see it. Back to our Getting Started notebook. You've got a short section here about how to install Python packages, which you'll undoubtedly need to do at some point. You can do that right in your notebook using either Conda or pip. And then you've got an example for installing NumPy, or numerical Python, which is a really popular library for math functions, arrays, matrices, and so forth. So we'll just run these here to show you what this is like. Again, I'm going to go with Shift-Enter to run the code. So installing NumPy. This might take a minute, so I'll let it finish and be right back. Okay, so the installation completed. Now we want to import, and we can actually use NumPy. This code here is going to create an array of size 10, and then it'll fill the array with 10 random float numbers between 0 and 1. So I'll do a Shift-Enter to run that, and you'll see the result. Again, the point of this video is not to teach you Python or Jupyter Notebooks or anything like that. I just want to show you how to get around. And I also want to show you some sample notebooks that'll be great for learning as you're getting started. So scrolling down a little bit more, there's 4 sections here. I'm going to focus on these top 2, the SageMaker Studio Lab examples and the AWS Machine Learning University. You'll see a short description of each, but I'm going to go ahead and clone these notebooks here. This is basically going to go out to GitHub and grab the notebooks from the AWS repository and download them to your project at whatever path you specify here. I'm going to leave the defaults, and then you probably want to deselect this second option here. There's several notebooks that are going to get downloaded, and most of them have their own environment files. Environment is kind of like a container where you're going to run your notebook. It has all your packages and dependencies and so on that you need in order for the code to work. We'll see how to build an environment for a specific notebook in a little bit, but I'd recommend deselecting this. You might actually get errors if you leave it selected. But go ahead and hit clone. And this should open up the README file for the notebooks when you're done. You'll see over on the left that it's downloaded a new folder for you right here and dropped us inside of that. We'll look at these briefly, but I want to go back and get the AWS Machine Learning University ones as well. So I'm going to back up a level and then click on the Getting Started notebook here again. We'll do the same thing, clone MLU notebooks since we're in cloning mode. I'll leave everything the default here except deselect this again, hit clone. And once again, it drops you into the README for this particular set of notebooks. So you've got 2 really good options now to dive in and get started. With these README files, it'll give you a nice overview of the structure, sort of what's included in this course. This particular one does also have a YouTube playlist and a YouTube channel associated with it, so that's another great way to learn. If you click into notebooks over here, you'll see they're organized into days, and you can progress through these and get some hands-on practice. So a really good place to start. If we back up to that first set that we downloaded, the Studio Lab examples, I'll show you how to get started in a notebook. There's a lot to choose from here. I'm just randomly going to choose the geospatial data science one, and then there's one about California counties and lakes here. Before we dive into this, I'm just going to clean up my workspace a little bit here and close out of some of these things that we don't need anymore. All right, now let's dig into this project and open some of these files. The specifics of each notebook are going to differ as far as the code and the libraries required and so on, but in general, you're probably going to start by building an environment. You'll see here we have environment.yml, a YAML file. If I double click on that, I mentioned before that an environment is kind of like an isolated container that holds the packages and dependencies that your code needs to run. When we build this environment, which will be called geodata, you'll see it's going to pull in the things listed here. And to make that build happen, you just need to right-click on the file right here and say Build Conda Environment. Confirm, OK. This will open up a terminal window and do its thing. I'll give it just a minute and be right back. All right, when that finishes, you'll see down here that to activate the environment, you need to use conda, activate, and then the name of your environment. So I'll type that in, geo-data, hit enter, and now it's been activated. Okay, with that all set up, I can go open up the notebook now. So I'll double click on the geospatial analysis notebook over here. Now, when we open that up, it's going to start up the kernel, which is basically the engine that'll run all of your code. Up here, if you click on this, you see that we're using the geodata Python kernel. There's other options here as well if you want to switch that. But you can also see information about your kernels over here. You'll see there's one running for the Getting Started notebook that we were in earlier. And you can also shut things down here either individually on the X, or you can shut them all down. So just a good one to know about here. Let's run through some of the code in the notebook. Again, there's nothing specific to this workbook that I want to teach you, but I really just want you to be able to get started with this or other notebooks. Up here on top, you have an introduction of what this notebook is all about. This particular one works with geographic data sets and specifically looks at counties and lakes in the state of California in the United States. You get the instructions here to build the environment by right-clicking on that YAML file. We did that earlier. And generally, it's a good idea to build that environment before you open this notebook, which is what we did. You can also run things manually here in this code. You'll see it's commented out with the hashtags. That's why it's optional, because we built the environment using that YAML file. But that's an option if you need it. So the installation is done, but we do need to import packages down here. Installing just kind of puts the package into a spot where Python expects it to be, where import says, okay, go grab this specific thing, this specific function inside of the package so I can actually use it. So I'll place my mouse here in this cell, and then I'll hit Shift-Enter to run the code. Again, you can come up here to the play button to run it as well, but I'll do Shift-Enter. I'll just walk through a few more blocks of code just to show you what it's like to work in the notebook. Here we're going to grab the data, unzip it, and make it available to the rest of the code. Here we're doing some data analysis. I'll run this. Getting the size of our data set with shape. You'll see it's 58 rows by 18 columns. And then with head, we're going to look at the first 5 rows. You'll see there the data that we're working with. And 18 columns. And then down here, this is where it gets really interesting. You can actually visualize your data. And here we see the different counties in the state of California. Anyway, I'll stop here in this workbook. I really just wanted to show you how to get started using SageMaker Studio Lab, and this is just one example. Feel free to continue on your own. When you're done, you'll want to come back to this starting page and hit Stop Runtime. If you don't do that, like I mentioned at the beginning, it will automatically shut down either after 12 hours or 4 hours, depending on your type of compute. But I personally like to just manually shut things down when I'm done. So that's it, a first look at SageMaker Studio Lab. I think this will be super helpful for folks getting started with machine learning, and it's totally free. I hope you found it helpful. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.